All right, here, this is from Storybox. Link will be down in the description.
Have sort of gotten back into the realm of the Alex Jones InfoWars, Sandy Hook level psychotic conspiracy everywhere. I don't know if Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger. I don't know if he was on the roof and he was the one who fired the gun. But the insane conspiracy theories that are being floated that are implicating everyone and anyone involved, that are unsubstantiated and unfalsifiable in their vagueness. I mean, I'm seeing Sandy Hook 2.0 recurring right now.
They are getting ahead of something, okay? They know something and they're priming the public to think this is just like when elementary school children died and Alex Jones had to be sued. And it is deeply ironic and almost sick that that is being platformed on what is still being called the Charlie Kirk Show. Because let me tell you what the name...
I need you to remember this one fact. Whatever Candace Owens says about somebody, just step back and ask yourself, is Candace Owens doing that? She is the final girl boss of projection, whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what she says. Just step back and just ask yourself, is that what she's doing? Because more than likely, the answer is going to be, yeah, she is doing that. And this one right here is a classic textbook example. She is doing exactly what she is saying that they're doing. It's wild, crazy work. So she is put out there, and listen to how she tries to frame the whole Alex Jones. Because remember, she said he must be sued. And later on, she'll even tease it out a little bit more. So let's get this going. It's a little long.
Namesake, Charlie Kirk himself had to say about people who call for lawsuits and for people to be bankrupted because they don't like speech. Here is Charlie Kirk regarding that specific Alex Jones lawsuit.
Alex Jones was patient zero for the censorship regime back in 2018. And now Alex Jones is patient zero for lawfare strategies to be able to shut people up that they don't like. Is Alex Jones outlandish? Of course he is. He's a quasi-entertainer. That's one of the reasons why he's so popular. But Alex Jones has been right about a lot of things.
Let's talk about Candace Owens. Candace Owens has come out and defended me. And she's pointed out that it's a talking point all over national news and by all these pundits and all these other talk shows, some of which I've known and I'm friends with, like Viva Fry, that when she questions the Charlie Kirk assassination and the anomalies there, and I've disagreed about some of the way she's gone about it, but overall, I think she means well, and it's her right to ask the questions. They're saying she's Alex Jones bullying the parents of dead kids, Sandy Hook. I never created those stories. Professors early on questioned it. I did a few interviews. I wasn't the Sandy Hook guy. There's a video report years ago that Harrison Smith did where you did a Google search. You can do that. And from the time it happened until Hillary ran TV ads at the end of the campaign 2016 against me with Sandy Hook, I was never mentioned in Sandy Hook. I wasn't banned off the internet over Sandy Hook. They just made it about that, said I peed on graves. Nobody peed on graves. Made this huge event out of it. And it turned out the FBI and CIA was running the show trials. I was found guilty or civilly liable by the judges. And you know the rest is history. And they admitted that I was the beta test. And Charlie Kirk back at the time understood that and spoke out. So she played a clip of him pointing that out. So I appreciate Candace standing up, for me and pointing out that I was set up. But even the way she says, oh, he apologized. No, when they started running PR articles and thousands of stories a week, literally, and hundreds of TV programs a month, and I'd already said I thought Sandy Hook happened years before, I was like, hey, I didn't think that. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, why do they keep saying I'm doing this? I'm not doing this. And it was because they raised $300 million off my name with PR firms. They couldn't raise money for gun control, so they did it off Alex is being mean to us, help us, and ran ads all over the internet, saying that. And so even people defending me don't even know the facts of what really happened. And when Elon Musk brought me back 3+ years ago to X, because Tucker said, hey, Alex didn't really do this, he went and looked at the logs because he bought Twitter and could read every private message, everything I ever did, every post. He went, oh, my God, Jones always said it happened. He had a few debates with people saying it didn't. I had some professors and publishers on 5-6 times. But they chose that to then lie about what I supposedly did, to then demonize Trump. Instead of Trump coming out and pointing that out, he just basically, The Republicans basically shunned me over it. Same thing they did saying Trump said all Mexicans are criminals and I love the KKK, they're great people. Never said any of that, nothing even close. Said the opposite, they're not fine people. But that's what they do. So you've got...
So I just want to stop for a second. Whether really, truly, I'm not arguing whether or not Alex Jones said what he said about Sandy Hook or anything of that nature. But notice what Candace is going to do. She's going to try to hook her horse to this argument that they're just suing to bankrupt somebody because of speech. No, that's not it. No, there was way, 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 way more than just speech. And she tries to make it, she tries to create this narrative where they're trying to quash free speech. They're trying to quash your First Amendment right to say whatever you want to say and not be held accountable for it. That's what they were trying to do. And she's trying her best to tie herself into that. And as this one said right here, thank you so much, Van, she's using Jones, which I think is crazy because Alex Jones, remember, he was supposed to go off on Candace and her husband beginning part of the year. And I don't know what happened to that. He just now all of a sudden he didn't got his Candace Owens fan club tattoo. I have no idea how we got here. But notice what she's going to try to do. She's going to try to tie herself to Alex Jones, and that Alex Jones was only sued because he said something that people didn't like because he had speech. And when she brings back up Charlie Kirk, it's going to be because of speech, when that's not the reason why at all. Okay, let's go.
To be aware of it. Now, as for Viva Fry, I like him. And he gets up there and he says, this psychotic stuff, Alex Jones saying, Sandy Hook didn't happen. Well, that's what Candace Owens is doing. And that's not what I did. And I'm not even mad at him for doing that, but he's doing it while there's this whole background noise of other shows and talk shows saying the same thing. So Candace is right. Something's going on. Something politically or lawsuit-wise is being set up, because they don't want us to question official narratives. And what I know is even O'Neill, one of the top Navy SEALs, reportedly killed bin Laden, he's come out and said the official story doesn't add up. Doesn't mean I think TPSA killed him or Erica Kirk did. Some people say that. I'm not saying that. But regardless, it's America. You're public figures. People have a right to ask questions and say what they think. I can say the moon's made of cheese, even though I would be wrong. I can say it's made out of, baloney, too. It wouldn't be right. So here's Candace Owens bringing this down and Charlie Kirk from the grave.
A
lot of meta commentary.
Charlie, and if Charlie's not safe in the political space, neither am I. Certainly not with you guys speaking like this. That also was the point of the NCRI report. That report, is that going to be used as evidence? Look, harassment, that is what they took Alex Jones down for. He said something, which he has apologized before and said was wrong. He speculated that the children didn't actually die that day. And then they came after him for emotional harassment, stress, whatever the claims were. And they sued him and won for $1.4 billion, effectively ending his InfoWars platform, suing him into bankruptcy. And I want to be clear, they're also putting people on their show to say, Erica's just like the parents at Sandy Hook. This is the priming. They all know something that we don't know. They're not all kind of going back to Sandy Hook for no reason. Here is Viva Frey on the Charlie Kirk Show. Take a listen.
We're living in a world where people have sort of gotten back into the realm of the Alex Jones InfoWars Sandy Hook level psychotic conspiracy everywhere, where now people are saying, all right, I believe everything we're being told is a lie, so I'm going to not believe anything except for that which I've convinced myself of already. I don't know if Tyler Robinson pulled the trigger. I don't know if he was on the roof and he was the one who fired the gun. I know what the preliminary evidence looks like right now, and I know it's being adduced at the preliminary hearing. But the insane conspiracy theories that are being floated, that are implicating everyone and anyone involved, that are unsubstantiated and unfalsifiable in their vagueness. I mean, I'm seeing Sandy Hook 2.0 recurring right now. I appreciate there are some issues with the prosecution. There's some issues with the investigation, and there's some issues with the evidence. I can appreciate that. But to go from there to say that it's exploding microphones, Israel did it, and not that Israel might have had a hand in this. But until you can provide the slightest shred of evidence other than I can divine an intention or a motive, you have to admit that from the evidence that you have right now, if you have a more plausible theory than the one being presented, which is Tyler Robinson was on the roof, took the shot, had the rifle, had the moment, had the opportunity. If you have a more plausible theory to present, you can go ahead and present it, but you don't get to manufacture facts out of whole cloth.
This is for sure foreshadowing. This is like this kind of dark psychiatry. I'm well accustomed to this. They are getting ahead of something. Okay. They know something and they're priming the public to think this is just like when elementary school children died and Alex Jones had to be sued. And it is deeply ironic and almost sick that is being platformed on what is still being called the Charlie Kirk show. Because let me tell you what the namesake, Charlie Kirk himself, had to say about people who call for lawsuits and for people to be bankrupted because they don't like speech. Here is Charlie Kirk regarding that specific Alex Jones lawsuit.
Alex Jones was patient zero for the censorship regime back in 2018. And now Alex Jones is patient zero for lawfare strategies to be able to shut people up that they don't like. Is Alex Jones outlandish? Of course he is. He's a quasi-entertainer. That's one of the reasons why he's so popular. But Alex Jones has been right about a lot of things. And so people say, well, don't talk about it, stay away from it. I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson what happens when I stay quiet and I listen to these people. I'm not going to put up with another bad precedent being set because I'm told that I should hate Alex Jones. He's outlandish. He's wild. He's entertaining. I don't agree with him on everything. They're doing this to be able to show it's a spectacle. And some people say, look, Charlie, this isn't about the regime doing a spectacle. It's about the families of murdered kids. I think it's not right what Alex Jones said and what he did. He agrees with that. Should you be able to shut somebody up because of it? Rachel Maddow accused One America News Network of being funded by the Russian government, and a judge tossed that away because under free speech provisions. $1 billion? We're going to talk about this in the next segment throughout the hour. This also is an opportunity that I hope all of you take. Watch carefully today. The podcasts you listen to, the radio shows you consume, the TV shows you watch. This is a scorecard moment. If your favorite conservative commentator is silent on Alex Jones, that is very telling. Lawyers for the Sandy Hook families say a verdict will send a signal to other conspiracy purveyors about the cost of online lies and set in motion a chain of events that could shut InfoWars down. So,
she's using Charlie Kirk and what he said about Alex Jones. Whether he's right or wrong is not the argument that I'm making. She's using Charlie Kirk and what he said about Alex Jones, and she's literally overlaying herself on this argument. So in her mind, what he says about Alex Jones, he's saying about Candace Owens. Like she's literally putting herself in that same position. So what Charlie Kirk said about Alex Jones is the same thing that Charlie Kirk would say about Candace Owens. That's what she's trying to present, and using Charlie Kirk posthumously to prop up what she's doing, which is totally diabolical, by the way. That's another woman's husband who is dead, but I digress. So the fact that she's using that is crazy, crazy work. And let us also add, I am 1,000% sure if Charlie Kirk were here, able to see what Candace Owens is doing to, let's just say, another person, okay, the other Charlie, and he was able to see this, I don't think Charlie Kirk would be even remotely making the claim that Candace has the right to say these things. I don't think that's the case at all. But even more than that, Charlie Kirk is not God. So whatever Charlie Kirk thought, and I've said this before, Charlie Kirk was wrong on a lot of things. So I'm not using him as some kind of prop him up as he is the standard. He is not the standard. He's not. He's said things, done things that I disagreed with, and I can disagree with from scripture, not just disagree because my name is Jason. So Charlie Kirk is not infallible. So the fact that she keeps trying to bring him back into the argument to prop her up is crazy work. Ma'am, show me from scripture that you can make these claims. Why are you people not calling Candace out to make the claim from the scriptures, being the fact that she professes to be a Christian? If your book is the highest law and standard for your faith and practice, why are you not asking Candace to make the claim that what she's doing is biblically solid, not Alex Jones solid, not thumb approval from Charlie Kirk, but from the scriptures? Why are y'all not asking her that? If you profess to be a Christian and you support Candace Owens, why do you not ask her to make a biblical case for what she's doing? That should be kind of telling. Because I've made the request multiple times over. Make the case from the book. Convince me from scripture that Candace Owens is right, and I will go get my Candace Owens fan club t-shirt and tattoo this afternoon. Convince me from the book. But you can't, because you can. Let's finish this up.
Basically, the New York Times is saying this is a lot bigger than just Alex Jones. And you might be out there and say, I hate Alex Jones and he's a wackadoodle and all this sort of stuff. Look at the bigger picture. Have you learned nothing about how these people operate? Conspiracy purveyor. Who exactly is that? You know who the conspiracy purveyors are? Every single one of those mockingbird maniacs on television that was telling us Donald Trump is a Russian agent. You're the conspiracy theorist. But they'll never be held accountable. No, what they mean by conspiracy theorist is someone who asks questions against the core tenets, as Friedrich Nietzsche, the pieties that you can't ask, like election integrity or the alphabet mafia.
There he is, you guys, in his own words, on his own show, his namesake, the Charlie Kirk show, which used to represent Charlie Kirk's ideas. And now we have these pathetic people who are an extension of the state, the very state that Charlie was trying to fight. The surveillance state, the totalitarian state, people that then use the state to punish people with lawsuits. How dare they?
Why does she always look like why does it always look like she just smells something that smells horrible? Why does she do that? That is just such a crazy thing. But notice what she's done. She is taking what Charlie Kirk said about Alex Jones, which was a statement in time, and she has brought it forward into 2026 and overlaid herself over that matter. So she's saying basically, Charlie Kirk agrees with me, which is irrelevant. I don't think he would. If we want to play that game, I don't think Charlie Kirk would realistically agree with anything Candace has done for the last 11 months. I don't think so. I feel comfortable in saying that. But even more than that, it doesn't matter. Charlie Kirk is not God. I don't care what Charlie Kirk thought or would think about this matter. I'm sorry. I don't care what he thinks about this matter because I'm just projecting. I'm just kind of conjecturing what I think he might think about it. But really, you might as well ask, what does Charlie Kirk think about those new Starbucks barista cups? Is just that stupid. The exact same ignorance. And what would it matter? He's not God. I don't think God cares about the barista cup either. But you got my point. Finish up, Jason. Let's go.
How dare they do it with his name below in the banner? The Charlie Kirk show is now using the same logic that we believe that what happened in Sandy, this is like akin to Sandy Hook. People are being harassed. They are signaling that this is their last desperate ploy. Mark my words.
See.
And now Laura Loomer, Mark Levin, all of them are saying, if you don't want the Iran war, you're not just a Qatari agent or an Iranian agent, you're a Russian agent. That's what Laura Loomer said with Zelensky, the dictator, just yesterday. That interview's out today. Same crap. But let's be clear. Alex said he was sorry. That was in the middle of this. I don't know what was going on. They kept saying I did all these things. I was naive back then. I thought it might actually be families of kids. It came out in court. It was the Democrats, the DOJ, the CIA, judges that found me liable, that had show trials on how guilty I was.
The way that Candace was framing all of this, and
I'm gonna let Jay finish up right here, but it's funny, and I'm telling you right now, a sane way to look at Candace when you read her on X or hear her making comments on any social platform is just ask yourself, do I see her doing that? When she accuses somebody of doing something, do I see her doing that? And I'm telling you right now, more times than not, you'll say, yeah, I see Candace doing that. Like the projection level is insane, right? It's projection maxing, if you will, because it's Candace that's doing it. And she'll point the finger at you and saying, you're doing it, but it's really her. She's the one that's doing it. Let's finish up with Jay. This was from Storybox's video from earlier this morning. I thought it was really great because it shows what I believe Candace knows she's going to lose that Macron case. And she's trying to set up the stage for the loss. And I think most people, when we had Beard Lawyer on, he said the Harpo case was the best case that going against Candace right now. He said the Macron case was probably the second. I think she's going to lose both of them. And I do believe that she knows she's going to lose both of them. So she's priming her audience for the defeat so she can say, oh, see, I told you they're against me for free speech. They're against me because of speech. They don't like what I had to say, when it's not that's not the case at all. So let's finish up with Jay. This is not really, it's a little lengthy, but I'll bring it in. Shout out to Jay from Storybox. Definitely go check out him and his content. Let's get back to it. Let's go.
Charlie Kirk as well is a malicious mischaracterization of what was actually being said. Charlie's statements, for example, he was going after more Alex Jones on the basis of, or he was defending Alex Jones on the basis of freedom of speech. And it could be weaponized, for example, to sue journalists, you name it. It could be weaponized. And sure, we should be allowed to say certain things. The difference that I am on with Charlie in this particular instance is if you are saying something that the intention is to cause harm, malice, and defame a person, very much like what Candace Owens is doing, and you repeatedly refuse to apologize, or if you repeatedly don't heed to the warnings to stop, and you double down, you triple down, you keep on going, there should be consequences, because the damage that can be done by your words, it's not just about this idea of freedom of speech, right?
Right. Here we go.
What Alex Jones did with Sandy Hook, okay, he had these pretty egregious false claims. It's pretty egregious to say over years, okay, this was spanning over a couple of years, right? Alex said on his show InfoWars that the Sandy Hook massacre was a hoax or staged event, and that some grieving parents were, quote, crisis actors. The shooting actually occurred with 20 children and 6 staff members killed. The defamation lawsuits came as a result of the families of the victims suing Jones in a Connecticut and in Texas courts, arguing that his statements were false, defamatory, and caused them years of harassment, threats, and emotional distress from people who believed in Alex Jones's claims. Now, Alex would love to say this is all the Democrats' fault, this is a deep state operation and all that sort of stuff, but he failed to comply with court orders.
So real quick, I just want to stop for a second. And all I'm trying to show you, because I'm not trying to re-adjudicate the Alex Jones case. I really am not invested in it. God is going to do whatever he's going to do with Alex Jones and his statements. I just want you to see how Candace framed the Alex Jones story as, oh, they didn't like his free speech. You're free to speak, but you're not free of consequences. And Candace is trying to spread that veneer over her, stretch that veneer over her own crazy crusade against Erica Kurt and TPUSA with the same kind of like, oh, I'm just speaking, I'm just saying something, and people don't like what I'm saying. No, that's not what happened at all. And so she misinterpreted and misrepresented what happened to Alex Jones and how Charlie Kirk was speaking on it, which, by the way, I think Charlie might not have been 100% correct on that either, but you get my point. Why are you bringing them into it? Why don't you just make your case from the book? Why don't you do that as a alleged Christian, Candace? Why don't you just make your case from the book and prove book, chapter, and verse in context why it's okay for what you're doing? I think that would be great. Being the fact that most of her audience is not Christian anyway, that probably would be a good gospel opportunity. Wait, gospel opportunity. That means Candace would actually have to say the gospel and actually give the gospel. Never mind. That was dumb, Jason. Shame on me. But I think you understand where I'm going with this. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the JWhit Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.